Hi there, I'm Coach Kenneth, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you about she got married days after our breakup. What? Yeah, this is why we say every situation is so different, because we see all kinds of things, and of course we talk to people all around the world every day. And one of the best things about doing a coaching with us is you feel so much better. Talking with professionals, obviously Victoria and I have our master's degrees and are clinicians and therapists and have been for a while. Obviously me more than Victoria, but she's been training behind the scenes for a long time with Margaret and myself. And, when you're dealing with professionals, you feel much better just getting it off your chest and talking about these things, because breakups are one of the most stressful things in your life. And you go to your friends and your family, they give you bad advice, they don't understand it. You go to a clinician who doesn't specialize it and they give you bad advice. I mean, really, therapists aren't supposed to give you advice, right? That's not how we're supposed to operate. Obviously, we do it different when we're coaching, but when you're in this situation and you're just feeling like this is just so much, I don't understand this, you'll feel better after you talk to us, because we do understand it. And even the most wild and outrageous stories we've heard at least once in a while. Today we've got one of those wild, outrageous stories, right? Let's get into this email coaching. They said, "Hi, Coach Craig. First off, I want to say I'm a huge fan of your work. I am in my late 20s and my ex is the same age as me. The whole thing has been a total blindside to me and felt like a huge punch in the gut. I have been there. I totally understand that feeling. It's awful. Our relationship started in early November of 2022. And ended somewhere near the end of January. So they were dating for a couple months. Not a long relationship, but what's going on here? During that time, our relationship seemed normal. We never fought about anything, and we both trusted each other pretty well. Well, it was still really new, so you don't really know each other yet, and trust takes time to establish. The problem is, at one point very early in our relationship, some things had happened with her job. Something to do with a stalker coworker that made her uncomfortable and would inevitably cause her to miss work because of it, which led to her getting fired. That's a very bizarre story right there, right? A coworker is stalking her at work and she has to miss work and they fire her? I mean, what was going on? At the time, she was about to lose her apartment, and since we lived in the same complex, I told her she should crash with me and get things sorted. We both knew moving in together at this time would be too fast, and when she did find a way to keep her place, she started to move some of her things back, but left a lot at my place because said she'd be staying with me more often anyways. Okay? So it sounds like it's going pretty good so far, except I would have wanted more details on that stalker situation. Things were still pretty normal until the middle of January. Around that time, things were normal as usual. She would kiss me goodbye for work, and we would talk as much as we could. The next day, she was unresponsive. And the following days after that as well, leading to us breaking up a few days later. You can imagine how shocking this would be. Things seem well. Everything's normal. One night she goes home or goes to work, and then all of a sudden things change. She's unresponsive, and now you're breaking up. Her reason for the breakup was because she started to drink heavily due to being depressed and felt like she was losing her balance and didn't want to drag me down with her. Well, depression can cause breakups. It can exhaust people and cause a lot of other issues. But why is she drinking so heavily? I have a feeling there's more going on there that you don't know about. Do I believe the part about not wanting to drag you down? Yeah, I think there's some truth to it, but I think there's more. During the following week and the week after, she would come by and grab her things, and once in a while would come by just to say hi or to borrow eggs. That's odd. You're not really hanging out, you're not really seeing each other, but you want to come by and borrow eggs? I'd be like, this is weird. Around the end of the month was the last time we talked. The 3rd of this month, I started to notice she wasn't coming to grab her things and was colder in her responses to me. 4 days after that, before she unfriended me on Facebook, I found out she married her best friend on the 2nd of this month. What? 4 days, I'm going to read this again. 4 days after that, before she unfriended me on Facebook, I found out she messaged her best friend on the 2nd of this month. How wild is that? They just broke up a few weeks beforehand, right? Things seemed fine. And then she gets married to somebody else. Wow. That would be devastating to have that happen to you, because you would just be so shocked that things fell apart so quickly and for something so extreme to happen. It's pretty bizarre. I've never experienced something like this before. I'm sure most people haven't. And never been so confused in my life. Yeah. I mean, for me, even this is really weird for me to hear. I can't even remember the last time I've heard something like this. To just break up with somebody and get married to somebody else, a couple weeks later? Since the 7th, I've been in no contact and focusing on me. But there has been this lingering thought about how things just don't seem right. My question to you is, do you think my ex is in a rebound? You know, this is such a unique, bizarre situation. It's hard to say. I mean, she married this guy. I don't think we have enough information here. First of all, she's marrying someone else out of nowhere. Your relationship seemed fine. And then all of a sudden, boom, she breaks up and marries somebody else. This is really bizarre. Was she platonic with this guy beforehand? It wouldn't make sense if they were. She must have dated that guy previously. I mean, what was that situation like? I mean, you'd only known her for a couple months, so obviously you don't know a lot. But how long did she know him? How long was the romantic history? Why did she marry him? What sparked that? You don't have hardly any information here to go by. He goes on to say, with everything I've learned, I don't think I could reconcile with her, not without a lot of work, if it even gets to that point. Well, I mean, how would you trust somebody that not only breaks up with you, but marries somebody new 2 weeks later? I mean, you're going to really question their decision-making ability, their impulsiveness, and their mental health, because none of that sounds healthy. All right. I guess I'm looking for a bit of peace of mind. Look, you were just starting to date this girl. You were just starting to get to know each other. I don't know if you necessarily did anything that she didn't like. You certainly didn't do anything that deserved or warranted how this played out. I mean, everything seemed fine based on what you told me. She didn't even have any complaints about you in the breakup or anything. We don't know anything about her history with this guy. Was she secretly in love with him for years? I mean, does she have a trauma history? Did she have some serious mental health issues? Is she extremely depressed and thinking that this new marriage is a fantasy that will save her and be wonderful and amazing, which it won't, by the way, but it'll won't be very long and that'll fall apart. So in some ways, I do think it'll be a rebound. I don't think they'll stay married. I would be shocked. I would be shocked if they made it even a year, right? But, you know, you don't know somebody this soon. And this is why I tell you guys, you have to take your time. This is why I tell you guys, do the workbooks in the creative healing course, because you're going to be more likely to weed people like this out. You're going to see the unhealthy behaviors a lot sooner. You're going to recognize them, and you're going to be more quick to say, oh, no, something's going on here. But not only that, you're going to take things slow, and you're not going to be as devastated when people come into your life like a whirlwind and leave you feeling like, oh my gosh, what happened? They just left me out of nowhere. Because you're more confident and secure, okay? But it really takes work to get there. This is a really unusual situation, and quite frankly, if she ever reached out, I would be like, can you tell me what happened here? I really don't understand. Some kind of open-ended question just to hear what she has to say. I mean, I would not recommend dating somebody who's this unhealthy in their decision-making. And it's possible she reaches out after that marriage falls apart. Who knows when that's going to be, because I don't really know any details about it. And I don't think you do either. And it would be important to know some of those things. Was she in love with this guy for 10 years? Or was it like some guy she goes out drinking with all the time and they don't have any kind of real healthy relationship, and they have this fantasy about getting married that it's going to solve all their problems or something? So, very unusual situation. But this is why you want to take your time getting to know somebody. Obviously, this is more extreme than many cases and than what many of you will have happen to you. But you can get hurt. And when you take your time getting to know somebody, and you've worked on yourself, and you've got somebody who's worked through their own issues, you're going to be more likely to have something stable and long-lasting and meaningful. So I wanted to share this one because I thought it was a really unique, interesting one, and that you guys might want to hear about something like this. I mean, have you guys ever heard of something like this? Leave a comment. Has this ever happened to any of you? I'd be really interested to see in the comments. But hopefully this one's been helpful to you. And of course, if you want to get our help personally, you could do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Skype. Of course, you can get my workbooks, the knowledge, or the creative healing course on my website. That's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and I will talk with you soon.